war that changed the world forever. Millions lost their lives, cities were wiped off the map, and humanity witnessed horrors beyond imagination. This is the story of World War II, a conflict that lasted from 1939 to 1945, and became the most devastating war in history. This was not just a battle between one or two countries. The entire world was engulfed in flames. Europe, Asia, Africa, and America, war was raging everywhere. But why did this war start? Who were the people responsible for bringing the world to the brink of destruction? And how did the outcomes of this war shape the world we live in today? Today, we will uncover the answers to all these questions. This war didn't start in a single day. Its foundations were laid many years earlier. After World War I ended in 1919, Germany was forced to sign the Treaty of Versailles, which imposed harsh restrictions. The German army was weakened, its economy was crippled, and its people were left in despair. During this time, Adolf Hitler and his Nazi party started gaining power. He convinced the German people that they had been treated unfairly and needed to reclaim their lost strength. Meanwhile, Benito Mussolini in Italy and Japan's military government also showed aggressive ambitions. In 1939, Hitler invaded Poland, and in response, Britain and France declared war on Germany, thus marking the beginning of World War. This war revolved around some of the most powerful leaders in history. At the center of it all was Adolf Hitler, the leader of Nazi Germany. His vision was to establish a vast German empire. But in pursuit of this goal, he led the world into destruction. Winston Churchill, Britain's Prime Minister, played a key role in keeping his nation's morale high with his powerful speeches. Joseph Stalin, the leader of the Soviet Union, fought massive battles against Germany. His army defeated Hitler in the brutal Battle of Stalingrad. Franklin D. Roosevelt, the President of the United States, initially stayed out of the war. But after Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor, America entered the war, shifting the balance of power. These leaders commanded their armies and made decisions that reshaped the course of history. Some battles in World War II changed the course of history. These battles were so intense that millions of lives were lost. Battle of Stalingrad, 1942 to 1943. Germany's defeat. Germany invaded Russia, but at Stalingrad, they faced fierce resistance. Millions of German soldiers died due to extreme cold, starvation, and the counterattacks by the Russian army. This battle weakened Hitler's forces, marking the beginning of his downfall. Pearl Harbor attack, 1941, USA enters the war. On December 7, 1941, Japan launched a surprise attack on the American naval base at Pearl Harbor, killing thousands of US soldiers. This attack forced the United States to officially join the war and declare war on Japan. D-Day, 1944, the Normandy invasion. On June 6, 1944, Allied forces launched a massive invasion on the beaches of Normandy, France, known as D-Day. It was one of the bloodiest battles, but it played a key role in liberating Europe from Hitler's control. The fall of Berlin, 1945, Hitler's end. In 1945, Allied forces launched a massive assault on Germany's capital, Berlin. Seeing his inevitable defeat, Hitler committed suicide on April 30, 1945. Soon after, Germany surrendered. Although the war had ended in Europe, Japan was still fighting. The US gave Japan a chance to surrender, but they refused. So, on August 6, 1945, the US dropped the first atomic bomb on Hiroshima. And 3 days later, another bomb on Nagasaki. This was the first and only time in history that nuclear weapons were used. In a single moment, millions of people perished, forcing Japan to surrender. Finally, on September 2, 1945, Japan officially surrendered, marking the end of World War II. The war was over, but its impact on the world was devastating. More than 60 million people had died. Many economies were in ruins, and it took years for the world to recover. A new global order emerged after the war. The United Nations (UN) was established to prevent future wars. This war also divided the world into two major blocs: the United States and its allies, and the Soviet Union, which led to a new conflict known as the Cold War. World War II taught us that the hunger for power and war always leads to destruction. World War II was a horrifying disaster, but it taught humanity the value of peace. This is not just a story from the past. It's a lesson that we must resolve our conflicts through dialogue, not war. Have we truly learned from history? Or is the world still on the brink of another war? What do you think? Could such a war happen again? Share your thoughts in the comments.